Hare Krishna, welcome to this episode of Bhagavad Gita. Today we will be studying chapter 11, text 43. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Bhagavad Gita chapter 11 text 43, Krishna's Unrivaled Supremacy. Pitasi lokasya characharasya tvamasya pujyascha gururgariyan natvat samostyabhyadhikah kutonyo lokatrayepya pratima prabhava. Pita, the father, Asi, you are, Lokasya, of all the world, Chara, moving, Acharasya, and non-moving, Tvam, you are, Asya, of this, Pujyah, worshipable, Cha, also, Guru, master, Gariyan, glorious, Na, never, Tvat Samah, equal to you, Asti, there is, Abhyadhikah, greater, Kutah, how is it possible, Anyah, other, Loka Traye, in the three planetary systems, Api, also, Apratima Prabhava, O immeasurable power. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: You are the father of this complete cosmic manifestation of the moving and the non-moving. You are its worshipable chief, the supreme spiritual master. No one is equal to you, nor can anyone be one with you. How then could there be anyone greater than you within the three worlds, O Lord of immeasurable power? Purport: The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is worshipable as a father is worshipable for his son. He is the spiritual master because he originally gave the Vedic instructions to Brahma, and presently he is also instructing Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. Therefore, he is the original spiritual master, and any bona fide spiritual master at the present moment must be a descendant in the line of disciplic succession stemming from Krishna. Without being a representative of Krishna, one cannot become a teacher or spiritual master of transcendental subject matter. The Lord is being paid obeisances in all respects. He is of immeasurable greatness. No one can be greater than the Supreme Personality of Godhead Kṛṣṇa, because no one is equal to or higher than Krishna within any manifestation, spiritual or material. Everyone is below him. No one can excel him. This is stated in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad 6.8. न तस्य कार्यं करणं च विद्यते न तत्समश्चाभ्यधिकश्च दृश्यते. The Supreme Lord Krishna has senses and a body like the ordinary man, but for him there is no difference between his senses, his body, his mind, and himself. Foolish persons who do not perfectly know him, say that Krishna is different from his soul, mind, heart, and everything else. He is absolute, therefore, his activities and potencies are supreme. It is also stated that although he does not have senses like ours, although he does not have senses like ours, he can perform all sensory activities. Therefore, his senses are neither imperfect nor limited. No one can be greater than him, no one can be equal to him, and everyone is lower than him. The knowledge, strength, and activities of the Supreme Personality are all transcendental. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 4.9, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vetti tattvatah tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sorjuna. Whoever knows Krishna's transcendental body, activities, and perfection, after quitting his body, returns to him and doesn't come back again to this miserable world. Therefore, one should know that Krishna's activities are different from others. That's the proof, actually. Whoever knows Krishna's transcendental body, activities, and perfection, after quitting his body, returns to him and doesn't come back again to this miserable world. That cannot be said for anyone else, right? Therefore, one should know that Krishna's activities are different from others. The best policy is to follow the principles of Krishna. That will make one perfect. It is also stated that there is no one who is master of Krishna. Everyone is his servant. The Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adilila 5.142 confirms, Ekale Ishwar Krishna Arsa Bhritya. Only Krishna is God and everyone else is his servant. Everyone is complying with his order. There is no one who can deny his order. Everyone is acting according to his direction, being under his superintendence. As stated in the Brahma Samhita, he is the cause of all causes. So, let's try to understand this more. In fact, I have with me here this book, Why Worship Only Krishna, which we have published earlier this year in January. And we're going to go through some of those points mentioned in that. So, let's see. Pitasi lokasya characharasya tvamasya pujyascha gururgariyan. Pujyaha, worshipable, Guru, master, spiritual master. So, Arjuna is very clearly proclaiming here Krishna's unrivaled supremacy in every respect. Guru means he is, a guru. What does guru do? Gives knowledge. So, knowledge-wise, he is a supreme. In fact, the qualification of Bhagavan is that he has to be full in 6 opulences. Full means infinite in 6 opulences. Aishvaryasya samagrasya viryasya yasasya shriyah jnana vairagyayoschaiva shannam bhaga itingana. Vishnu Puran says that Bhagavan means he has to be full or infinite in these 6 opulences: wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. Infinite quantities of each of these. In this world, whoever has any of these things, even one of them, in relatively minute quantities, if it's a little greater than others, he or she will already be attractive to others. So, Krishna is all attractive. He has all these in infinite quantity. So, Guru, of course, he is the supreme spiritual master. He knows everything and he can instruct us, especially about himself and about us, our relationship with him. What is this cosmos? How it is his potency? Everything he knows in and out. The only reason why we are suffering is because we don't have knowledge. And Guru, Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya. So, a Guru, what does he do? He removes the Ajnana or the ignorance by Jnananjana Shalakaya, um, by administering knowledge. And every morning we sing Chakshudan Diloje Janme Janme Prabhushe Divya Jnan Hriday Prakashita. Divya Jnan. So he gives us Jnan. So Krishna is the original Guru. Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. It's a very popular verse. So Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. So one should offer respects to Krishna because he is the Jagat Guru. And if anybody else is Guru, it is only when he is a proper representative of Krishna. Whatever Krishna says, he should repeat. He should have the same message as Krishna's. If he invents something else, that is not a Guru by definition. Because Pitasi, just like Krishna is called here Pita, the original father of everyone. Aham bija pradah pita, Krishna is also saying in the 14th chapter, and now Arjuna is saying Pitasi, lokasya. Characharasya, of all moving and non-moving beings, you are the father. And Krishna said the same thing. Sarva yonishu kaunteya aham bija pradah pita. So, of all species of life. Now, characharasya means of all species. Moving and non-moving includes every species. So, pitasi. So, if Krishna is the original father, in fact, in the 9th chapter, 17th verse, Krishna also says, Pitahamasya jagata mata dhata pitamaha. He is the father, mother, grandfather, everything. So, if Krishna is the original father, then our immediate father in this material world, what is his position? Well, he is given a role to play as the father only as a representative of the original father. So, this father that we have in this world should be a representative of the original father. Not only should one respect one's own father as being the representative of the original father Krishna, but also the father should take up the responsibility of guiding the son or the daughter to Krishna, the original father. So he has to be just an agent of the original father. But sometimes it happens in this material world, most of the time, that they may not be acting as the representative of the Supreme Father. In such a case, we should always keep our relation with the Supreme Father intact, and even if that means one has to relinquish one's adherence to one's own father, one has to do that, and that is exemplified by Prahlad Maharaj. He did not disrespect his father Hiranyakashipu, but at the same time he did not follow his orders. That's a rejection. So Guru also, similarly, a person who's a Guru, he has to represent the Jagat Guru. A mother has to represent the original mother. Again, Krishna. Mata dhata pitamaha. Pitahamasya jagata mata dhata pitamaha. So he is the mother as well. So if we are taking up the position of any of these responsible posts, then we have to ensure that we act on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nowadays in Kali Yuga, nobody plays their role in the as a representative of Krishna. They act in their own ways. Natvat samostyabhyadhika kutonyo. Very important line. There is nobody equal to you and nobody above you. Now, this statement has to be taken with utmost gravity. Many people read Bhagavad Gita, but they don't take this version at all. They don't consider Krishna as nobody equal to him or nobody greater than him. They think, oh, every god is same, we can do anything, whatever. But are they reading Bhagavad Gita then? People think Vaishnavas are one sect of Hinduism. But the entire Sanatan Dharma, the entire Vedic literature, they are actually Vaishnava literatures. It's the mainstay of Sanatan Dharma. It is the Sanatan Dharma actually. Sanatan means, what is the meaning of Sanatan? Eternal, that which has no beginning nor end. And we have no beginning or end. Krishna has no beginning or end. And our relationship with Krishna also has no beginning or end. We may forget such a relationship. Krishna never forgets. And forgetfulness is not the not, forgetfulness does not equal absence. So just because we have forgotten our relationship with Krishna, it does not mean that there's no relation between us and Krishna. And we're always related. Sanatana Dharma. So, antavattu phalam tesham tadbhavat alpamedhasam. So, if antavattu, if we pray to the demigods, the benedictions that we may get are antavat. That is not Sanatan. If there is an anta, that is not Sanatan. If there is an end to such results and such worship, that's not Sanatan. Sanatan means continuously. So, neha bhikramanashosti pratyavayo navidyate swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Little endeavor in Krishna consciousness will again revive our advancement. That is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. Because it continues beyond the end of the body. And not just one body, multiple. And also, the demigods themselves are not Sanatan. That is explained here in this verse. त्रिभिर्गुणमयैर्भावैरेभिः सर्वमिदं जगत् मोहितं नाभिजानाति मामेभ्यः परमव्ययम्. Deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. See? Above the modes. न तदस्ति पृथिव्यां वा दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः सत्वं प्रकृति जैर्मुक्तं यदेभिः स्यात् त्रिभिर्गुणैः. You see this? There is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary systems which is freed from these three modes born of material nature. And anyone under these three modes is perishable. That's why in the Ishopanishad, Sambhava and Asambhava is mentioned. You see, Anyadevaho Sambhavat, Anyadaho Asambhavat. Isho 13, if I'm not wrong. Okay. Yeah. You see this verse, Isho Upanishad. This is the foremost of all the Upanishads, Isho Upanishad. Mantra 13. Anyadevaho Sambhavad, Anyadaho Rasambhavat, iti Shushrumadhiranam yenas tadvichachakshire. It is said that one result is obtained by worshipping the supreme cause of all causes, and that another result is obtained by worshipping what is not supreme. All this is heard from the undisturbed authorities who clearly explained it. Undisturbed authority, Dhiranam, Sushrumad Dhiranam. Vichachakshire, perfectly explained. The system of hearing from undisturbed authorities is approved in this mantra. Wait. Okay. Let's go to 12. I want to show this other thing. Sambhuti and Asambhuti. Yes. This is another meaning of Sambhuti, Asambhuti. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay. Sambhuti, Asambhuti. Andham tamah pravishanti ye sambhutim upasate tato bhuya ivate tamo ya usambhutyam rataha. So, Asambhutim, here it is translated as demigods. Sambhavad and Sambhuti, pretty much the same thing. Sambhutyam in the absolute, but here it is impersonal absolute. So this is, unless a pure devotee only can explain this properly. So translation: those who are engaged in the worship of demigods enter into the darkest region of ignorance, and still more so do the worshippers of the impersonal absolute. Now let's look at the purport here. The Sanskrit word asambhuti refers to those who have no independent existence. Sambhuti is the absolute personality of Godhead who is absolutely independent of everything. In the Bhagavad Gita, the absolute personality of Godhead, Kṛṣṇa, states, Name viduh suragana prabhavam na maharshayah aham adirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvashah. So Krishna is the origin of all the demigods and the sages, and therefore they cannot know him. So, natvat abhyadikas tatonyo. Is that the word? What is today's? Natvat samostyabhyadikah kutonyo. So this has to be this is a very weighted conclusion. We should not just glaze over this and forget that it is not there. So anyone who churns out any other meaning other than this, mattah parataram na anyat, Krishna is saying himself in the 7th chapter, 7th verse. There's no one equal to or superior to me. Mattah parataram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya. So when he's saying in clear words like that, how can we come to a different opposite conclusion? And Bhagavad Gita is Sarvopanishado Gavo Gopal Dogdha Gopalanandana Partho Vatsah Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat Bharatamrita Sarvasvam Vishnu Vaktrad Vinihsritam Gita Gangodakam Pitva Punarjanmana Vidyate. So, of all the Mahabharata, of all the Vedas, of all the Upanishads, this is the Sara, Veda Sar. The author of Vedic literature, Veda Narayana Sakshat, Vedo Narayana Sakshat. So the Vedas are non-different from Narayana. If I can show you, just a second. Now, I want to show you first Vedo Narayana Sakshat 6140. Okay. See, Yamaduta Uchu Veda Pranihito Dharmo Hi Adharmastad Viparyayaha Vedo Narayana Sakshat Swayambhuriti Shushruma. That which is prescribed in the Vedas constitutes dharma, the religious principles, and the opposite of that is irreligion. The Vedas are directly the supreme personality of Godhead Narayana and are self-born. This we have heard from Yamaraj. So now I want to show you this. One second. It's interesting. I probably where's my mouse? One second. There it is. Having a little bit of an issue here. Okay. Yes, it's just a second. Okay, I'll just do the other way. Yeah. Okay. Here you see, I hope you can see the words there. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. I hope I can make it bigger for you. I don't think it helps all that much. Okay. So Brihadaranyaka Upanishad states, Asya mahato bhutasya निश्वसितम एतद् यद् ऋग्वेदो यजुर्वेदः सामवेदो अथर्वांगिरस इतिहासः पुराणं विद्या उपनिषदः श्लोकाः सूत्राण्यनुव्याख्यानानि व्याख्यानानीष्टम्. The Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda, the Vedic histories such as the Ramayana and Mahabharata, the Puranas, the transcendental knowledge of the Upanishads, the various verses, the aphorisms such as those contained in the Vedanta Sutra, Narada Bhakti Sutra, etc., their authoritative elucidations and commentaries have all emanated from the breath of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So even the commentaries, Anuvyakyanani, Vyakhyananishtam, so even they are coming from the breath of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and there's no difference between Krishna and his breathing. So from the breathing of the Supreme Lord, all these are coming. So even the commentaries of pure devotees, that's why Arshavignya Vakya Nahi Dosha Esab, Brahm Pramad Vipralipsa Karana Patav. Even the great authorized Mahajans, their sayings have no, their writings and sayings have no imperfections, because they are completely attuned with Krishna, and whatever they speak is actually Krishna speaking through them. For example, Baladev Vidyabhushan wrote a commentary on the Vedanta Sutra, and it is called Govinda Bhashya because Govindadev, a deity, was dictating and he was writing. Same thing with Bhaktivedanta purports that Prabhupada wrote. They are Krishna dictated. Prabhupada said this. Krishna was dictating and I am writing. So, these are all coming from Krishna. So, when the Vedas are all coming from Krishna, from Vishnu, then how is it that it is not Vaishnava literature? How can somebody say that I am a follower of a Devata and he is a follower of Sanatana Dharma? Not exactly. Well, within the context of Varnashram Dharma, but not exactly Sanatana Dharma yet, because that Dharma is not Sanatan. That's why Krishna finally said, Sarva Dharman Parityajyam Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. That Sarva Dharman are not Sanatan Dharma. Asanatan. Mamekam Sharanam Vraja is Sanatan Dharma. To surrender to Krishna exclusively is the Sanatan Dharma, the eternal occupation of this living entity. Jiver Swarup hoy Krishner Nitya Das. So Krishna's, the Jiva's original constitutional position is to be an eternal servant of Krishna. Only that is Sanatana. Nowadays, especially Hindus, oh, I am a Sanatani, What is Sanatana? Do you know the meaning of the word Sanatana? So Ramanujacharya very nicely states, and Prabhupada explains this in the introduction of Bhagavad Gita, that Sanatan means that which has no beginning and end, and which does not depend on any external symbols we may take or not take. It is an inherent characteristic of the soul, Ramanujacharya said, is to serve. To serve is the inherent characteristic of the soul. And now that service has to be reposed on the perfect person, God, Krishna. That is Sanatan Dharma. Our dharma is to serve, and Sanatan means like the green bird going into the green tree. We are eternal. We belong to the eternal world. We belong to the eternal personality of Godhead. So we have to again go in that. And that's not merging, that's just keeping our individuality, but then in the same realm, green, which is compared to the spiritual realm. So Ramanujacharya explains this very nicely, what is Sanatan Dharma. So we have to understand it in that way. Only that is Sanatana. To accept the unrivaled supremacy of Krishna. So here we will go through some of these words as well here, some verses. Gopal Tapani Upanishad also confirms, Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedamscha Gopayati Sma Krishna. By the way, this is actually from this book only, the PDF version of this book. I'm just showing this from. We actually urge everyone to have this book. This is a very good book from which we can develop our arguments at, because so many people have, especially among the Hindus, have this misconception that all gods are same and this and that. So we have to strengthen our arguments, our understanding. That's why this book has been published, and we urge you to take this and develop the argument. Of course, there are so many more verses that can be quoted to prove this point that Krishna is the supreme, but the essential verses were just taken, and these should suffice for any good counter argument. And this, when we say counter argument, all this knowledge is not just to fight with someone, it's to fight our own doubts. Because when somebody questions something and when we don't have an answer, it will create a doubt in ourselves. So we have to argue against that doubt that comes within us. And if we are clear, then whoever puts forward a question, we will be able to answer them. That's why even devotees are classified according to their ability to be able to defend Krishna consciousness and their practice and the whole philosophy against opposing conclusions. Just today morning, we were reading in the Nectar of Devotion, in the third chapter, that the demarcations of the three classes of devotees, first, second, and third class devotees. So the first class devotee, he is very good with not only understanding but also presenting conclusions in an authoritative way, and is fully convinced and can present and convince others. Now the second class devotee, he is firmly convinced, but he may not be able to win an argument sometimes. He may not be perfect in explaining or presenting the conclusions very well. And the third class devotee is he who does not even have proper understanding of the conclusions, who is attached somehow or other, but is not fixed up yet, even in his own understanding of the philosophy. So the emphasis was made in that description in the Nectar of Devotion about how they can defend this philosophy and against opposing conclusions. So why is that important? Why we should worry about what others say? It is important because what others say will affect us. And those questions, it's not what they say. It's whether that question is answered in our heart, in our mind or not. And if it is not, if there is a gap in understanding, that samshaya, the doubt which comes, samshayatma vinashati. So doubt will not get us anywhere. when the doubting soul attains neither happiness nor perfection, nor the supreme destination. In the Bhagavad Gita it is said, and therefore we need to have no samshaya, no doubt. So therefore we have to go through the rigor of evaluating every argument that comes our way and see what is the answer to that. So Gopal Tapani Upanishad says, Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedamscha Gopayati Sma Kṛṣṇa. It was Krishna who in the beginning instructed Brahma in the Vedic knowledge and who disseminated Vedic knowledge in the past. Krishna's name is mentioned. Gopal Tapani Upanishad actually mentions Krishna's name so many times. So that's why he is called Guru Garyan. So he is the original Guru, Jagat Guru. So now another, is this the one? No. One second. Now if you go to 36, I guess. What page is this? 26. Yeah. Okay, you see the Rajasuya sacrifice incident. So this is another incident, and I should probably go to that part where okay. Probably the most decisive among all Krishna's earthly pastimes, which is from our book, which establishes his supremacy over all the living entities of the universe in one stroke, has to be the Rajasuya sacrifice of Maharaj Yudhishthira. It is mandatory in a Rajasuya sacrifice to select the most worshipable personality among all the members present. In that Rajasuya Yajna ceremony of Maharaj Yudhishthira, Krishna was selected as the greatest personality by all present. Principal leaders from all over the universe were present at the Rajasuya sacrifice. Srimad Bhagavatam 1074:13 through 15 informs us of the attendees as follows. Who were the attendees of such? Haimaha Kilopakarana Varunasya Yathapura Indradayo Lokapala Virinchi Bhava Samyutaha Saganaha Siddha Gandharva Vidyadhara Manoragaha Munayo Yaksha Rakshamsi Khaga Kinnaracharanaha Rajanascha Samahuta Rajapatnyascha Sarvashah Rajasuyam Samiyuhsma Rajnyah Pandusutasya Vai Menire Krishna Bhaktasya Supapannam Avismitah. Indra, Brahma, Shiva and many other planetary rulers, the Siddhas and the Gandharvas with their entourage, the Vidyadharas, the great serpents, sages, Yakshas, Rakshasas, celestial birds, Kinnaras, Charanas and earthly kings, all were invited, and indeed they all came from every direction to the Rajasuya sacrifice of King Yudhishthira, the son of Pandu. In that assembly, Sahadev declared, Srimad Bhagavatam 1074:19, Arhate hyachyutah shraishtham bhagavan satvatam patih esha vai devatah sarva desha kala dhanadayah. Certainly it is Achyuta, Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead and chief of the Yadavas, who deserves the highest position. In truth, he himself comprises all the demigods worshipped in sacrifice, along with such aspects of worship as the sacred place, the time, and the paraphernalia. Now, he used the word Achyutaha. Very significant, because everyone else is Chuta. Everyone else is fallible. There was Bhishma Dev there. Still, although he maintained perfect brahmacharya, Naishtika brahmachari, and Krishna married so many queens, but Bhishma Dev himself said that Krishna is the supreme. And even though Bhishma Dev is that exalted, still, because he is a jiva, of course he is a Mahajan, he is a pure devotee, and therefore he is also Achyuta. Achyuta Gotrataha. Devotees are in the Achyuta Gotra, and they don't fall down as the Lord. The pure devotees in the disciplic succession, the Achyuta Gotra. So Vaishnavas are called Achyuta Gotra, pure Vaishnavas. So in that way, Bhishma Dev did not fall down, but technically speaking, he is a Jivarashi, and therefore his infallibility is only because he is taking shelter of the supreme infallible person, Achyuta Krishna. And therefore he was mentioned here as Arhatihi Achyutah Shraishtham. Uh, He does not fall down. Everybody else is fallible, he is infallible. And if anyone wants to become infallible, he has to take shelter of the infallible, Krishna. So Sahadev declared like that. And Bhishma Dev remembers this incident in Srimad Bhagavatam 1941. Munigana nripavarya sankulentah sadasi yudhishthira rajasuya esham arhanam upapeda ikshaniyo mama drishigochara esha aviratma. At the Rajasuya Yajna sacrifice performed by Maharaj Yudhishthira, there was the greatest assembly of all the elite men of the world, the royal and learned orders, and in that great assembly, Lord Sri Krishna was worshipped by one and all as the most exalted personality of Godhead. This happened during my presence, and I remembered the incident in order to keep my mind upon the Lord. See? He kept it in his heart as the most cherished memory, because in that, in the entire, all of them accepted the supremacy of Krishna, and a preacher, a devotee, gets so much pleasure when Krishna is glorified throughout. Now, let's go back to okay, you see, (1072.5). I'll show you. Taddeva deva bhavatascharanaravinda sevanubhavamiha pashyatu loka esha ye tvam bhajanti na bhajantyutavo bhayesham nishtham pradarshaya vibho kuru srinjayanam. Therefore, O Lord of Lords, let the people of this world see the power of devotional service rendered to your lotus feet. Please show them, O Almighty One, the position of those Kurus and Srinjayas who worship you and the position of those who do not. So you see, this is at the time of the Rajasuya sacrifice. Here we clearly see the heart of a preacher. And this is of course not translated by Srila Prabhupada. The great devotee Yudhishthir Maharaj implores Lord Krishna to demonstrate plainly the result of worshipping him and the result of not worshipping him. If the people of the world could understand this, they could begin to recognize that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and that everyone's ultimate self-interest lies in surrendering to him. As confirmed by great authorities, Yudhishthir Maharaj is a pure devotee of the Lord, and thus his actual motivation in discharging his duties as a king was to establish the supremacy of Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the real purport of the activities of the Pandavas, which are described in both the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Mahabharata. And I think 1072.1. Of course, Krishna book has a very nice description by Prabhupada. And second, I think it's in the purport of this as well. Yeah, you see, this 1072.3, the purport, the Prabhupada's description in Krishna book is mentioned here. Thus, Srila Prabhupada treats this verse as follows in Krishna. Okay, wait. Sridhar Swami states that the word Vibhuti refers to Lord Krishna's expansions, Amshan, and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur further explains that here the word Vibhuti refers to Lord Krishna's opulent expansions within this world, such as the demigods and other empowered beings. Thus, Srila Prabhupada treats this verse as follows in Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. My dear Lord Krishna, so Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying like this. My dear Lord Krishna, the sacrifice known as the Rajasuya Yajna is to be performed by the emperor, and it is considered the king of all sacrifices. By performing this sacrifice, I wish to satisfy all the demigods who are your empowered representatives within this material world, and I wish that you will kindly help me in this great venture so that it may be successfully executed. As far as the Pandavas are concerned, we have nothing to ask from the demigods. We are personally fully satisfied to be your devotees. As you say in the Bhagavad Gita, persons bewildered by material desires worship the demigods. But my purpose is different. I want to perform this Rajasuya sacrifice and invite the demigods to show that they have no power independent of you, that they are all your servants and you are the supreme personality of Godhead. Foolish persons with a poor fund of knowledge consider your lordship an ordinary human being. Sometimes they try to find fault in you and sometimes they defame you. This is the fact. And very many people, they treat Bhagavad Gita, they write on Bhagavad Gita, speak on Bhagavad Gita, but they don't accept this natvat sama abhyadika kutonyo mattah parataram nanya. These statements they don't take seriously. They take him as one historical personality who came, or who did not come. He's just a principle. He's just a device, a poetic, literary device to teach us moral principles. That's what many people think. Even Hindu so-called fighters of Sanatan Dharma, so-called Sanatan, their understanding of Sanatan Dharma is also wrong. But they claim to be fighters for the Sanatan Dharma. But even they come up with these conclusions. That Kṛṣṇa is a poetic device, a personality created to teach moral instructions to people. The moral instructions are the main thing. That Sadguru, what did he say? He said it is not Kṛṣṇa, yes, spoke the message, but it is not Kṛṣṇa or Ram. They spoke message or demonstrated something. So what is the? In fact, he said this in a video. It's on the internet. He said, "Why do you worship Ram?" So everybody was silent. All the audience was silent. What is so great about Ram? He's supposed to become king, and then he was banished into the forest. He went into the forest. His father died. Mothers became widows. Then he was living in the forest. His wife was kidnapped, and then he waged a huge war and killed Ravana and brought back his wife. And then immediately after, there was some, people were talking unnecessary stuff, and he banished his wife again. And then when he wanted to take her back, first of all, he fought his own sons, Lava and Kusha. And then he wanted to take her back, then she left. And he was, for 13,000 years, he was, okay, he did not say 13,000 years and all that. So he said, is this the recipe of a perfect life, a happy life? And some of them shook their head and said, so why do we worship Ram? And he said, despite all the reversals, he stuck to moral principles. That is what we worship. The sticking to moral principles is what we worship, not necessarily the person Ram. It's the message that is important, not the messenger, is his point. He made that as clear in exact words as well. He says the message is what we should worship and not the messenger, and we should adopt that message in our life and carry on forward. So whether it was a history, whether Ram was there or Ram was a fictitious character to teach us some moral stories on how we should be steadfast in our life despite all reversals, and we should stick to moral principles, whatever it is, whether it's history or a fabrication, doesn't matter, because the message stays intact. That is what we should be concerning ourselves with, and not really the messenger. It can be anyone. It can be Ram, Kṛṣṇa, it can be anyone. Maybe he's even implying himself. He did not say that. But that's what he's meaning. It's it can be anyone, is the message that is important. Now my question is, what if the message is to surrender to the messenger? Well, Kṛṣṇa is also, he spoke the Bhagavad Gita. If we are to accept just the message, Bhagavad Gita, and not the messenger, Krishna. Well, then the message says, Sarva dharman parityajyam mam ekam sharanam vraja. The, the messenger is asking everyone to surrender to him. So now the messenger becomes very important because the message is to surrender to the messenger. You can't separate these two. It's not that any message it doesn't matter whether it's history or a fabrication. It is not. Krishna is the fact, and he's not just a historical personality, another human being, or a little bit greater than me and you, a little bit extraordinary human being, maybe somebody like Hitler, or somebody who did something great, something that is more than ordinary people would do. No, that's very offensive to have that understanding. That's why Yudhishthira Maharaj says this. Huh? You see, I want to perform this Rajasuya sacrifice and invite the demigods to show that they have no power independent of you. So he's not disrespecting the demigods, he's inviting everyone, in fact. But he wants to ensure to the demigods and to others also. Because the demigods also played their part in trying to test Krishna. Brahma came to test Krishna, Indra came to test Krishna. So they were also kind of bewildered. So he wanted to tell them also and tell everyone that Krishna is the supreme. There's no one equal to or above him. That they have no power independent of you, that they are all your servants and you are the supreme personality of Godhead. Foolish persons with a poor fund of knowledge consider your lordship an ordinary human being. Sometimes they try to find fault in you and sometimes they defame you. Therefore, I wish to perform this Rajasuya Yajna. I wish to invite all the demigods, beginning from Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other exalted chiefs of the heavenly planets. First of all, he had the caliber to even invite them, and they accepted his invitation. Look at the caliber of Yudhishthira Maharaj. And in that great assembly of demigods from all parts of the universe, I want to substantiate that you are the supreme personality of Godhead and that everyone is your servant. So this is exactly what happened then. Krishna was proved that he was the supreme. And nobody contested that. I mean, Shishupal contested and he was finished. Nobody could prove themselves or prove that anyone else was the supreme. That is itself a demonstration of Krishna's position. And now, of course, people will bring up all kinds of shlokas from all kinds of Vedic literatures, from this Puran and that Puran, and which is why there is, I'll show that 20.145. There is actually another one, 22. Okay, let's look at this one first. व्यामोहाय चराचरस्य जगतस्ते ते पुराणागमास् तां तामेव हि देवतां परमिकां जल्पन्तु कल्पावधि सिद्धान्ते पुनरेक एव भगवान् विष्णुः समस्तागमा व्यापारेषु विवेचन व्यतिकरं नीतेषु निश्चीयते. Who is this Ashutosh? He's saying this is hypocrisy. Instead of reading Sanskrit text, you translate it. You're not a student, you're running a business. Oh, really? Okay. I just read the Sanskrit text, but anyway, let's now this is Sanskrit, okay? Please keep quiet and see this. Okay. There are many types. This is from the Padma Purana Uttarakhanda. There are many types of Vedic literatures and supplementary Puranas. In each of them, there are particular demigods who are spoken of as the chief demigods. This is just to create an illusion for moving and non-moving living entities. Let them perpetually engage in such imaginations. However, when one analytically studies all these Vedic literatures collectively, he comes to the conclusion that Lord Vishnu is the one and only supreme personality of Godhead. Say what you may, okay? People say, oh, we are like Abrahamic religions, you're saying there's one God. Did you read Bhagavad Gita then? Did you read Bhagavad Gita? If you read, you will not say that. You will also accept that there is only one God, Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam says, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Huh? The one and only personality of Godhead is Krishna. That is the Paribhasha Sutra of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the Paribhasha Sutra of Bhagavad Gita is Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. It's a simple Sanskrit, my dear. Simple Sanskrit. Abandon all varieties of religion, just surrender unto me. Okay. So, if we go here, if we go back, then 72, 1. Sri Shuka Uvacha Ekadatu Sabhamadhya Asthito Munibhirvritah Brahmanaihi Kshatriyair Vaishyair Bhratrabhischa Yudhishthirah. Sukadeva Goswami said, one day as King Yudhishthira sat in the royal assembly surrounded by eminent sages, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, and also by his brothers, spiritual masters, family elders, blood relations, in-laws and friends, he addressed Lord Krishna as everyone listened. Kraturajena Govinda Rajasuyena Pavanihi Yakshe Vibhutir Bhavatas Tatsampadayana Prabho. O Govinda, I desire to worship your auspicious opulent expansions by the Rajasuya sacrifice, the king of Vedic ceremonies. Please make our endeavor a success, my Lord. So, Tvatpaduke aviratam pariye charanti dhyayanti abhadranashane suchayo grinanti vindanti te kamalana bhavapavargam ashasate yadita ashisha ishananye. Purified persons who constantly serve, meditate upon and glorify your shoes, which destroy everything inauspicious, are sure to obtain freedom from material existence, O lotus-naveled one. Even if they desire something in this world, they obtain it, whereas others, those who do not take shelter of you, are never satisfied, O Lord. Okay, then, you see, Prabhupada, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur similarly explains King Yudhishthira's statement. And by the way, just now we have read, if you have been there, who is this? Ashutosh, who is giving his opinions here in the comment section. We have just read that all Anuvyakyanani, all the commentaries of the great Acharyas, including Prabhupada's, are coming from the breathing of Mahavishnu, breathing of Vishnu. Okay? Vedo Narayana Sakshat. And all the bona fide commentaries by the authorized Acharyas in the Sampradayas are breathing of Vishnu or Krishna. So this is another Acharya. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur similarly explains King Yudhishthira's statement. We feel no great urgency to perform the Rajasuya sacrifice, nor do we have any personal interest. Since we are all, by the way, he wrote this in Sanskrit. This was translated into English. Yeah? It doesn't matter whether it's Sanskrit or English. Whether Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is speaking or Srila Prabhupada is speaking, it's the message that matters, not the language. Okay? Anyway, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, we feel no great urgency to perform the Rajasuya sacrifice, nor do we have any personal interest, since we are already seeing your lotus feet and by your boundless mercy have been taken into your personal association. But in this world, there are some whose hearts are contaminated and who does think you are not the Supreme Personality of Godhead but an ordinary man. Or else they find fault with you and even criticize you. This is an arrow piercing our hearts. Therefore, to extract this arrow from our heart, we must call to this place on the pretext of the Rajasuya, Brahma, Rudra, and other wise brahmacharis and demigods who reside in each of the 14 planetary systems. When such an exalted congregation has assembled, it will be incumbent upon them to first arrange for the Agra Puja, or the first worship for the most worthy person present. And when they are directly shown that you, Lord Krishna, are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the arrow piercing our heart will be removed. Look at that. That's the heart of a preacher. And that's why in the next verse says, Taddeva deva bhavatas charanaravinda sevanubhavamiha pashyatu loka esha ye tvam bhajanti na bhajantyutavo bhayesham Nishtham pradarshaya vibho kuru srinjayanam. Therefore, O Lord of Lords, let the people of this world see the power of devotional service rendered to your lotus feet. Please show them, O Almighty One, the position of those who worship you and the position of those who do not. This is the heart of a preacher, right? So he continues actually his prayers, which are all relevant. Now, I want to show you another verse, which is, I think, 22.106. No. Let me see. (22.6). Okay. श्रुतिर्माता पृष्टा दिशति भवदाराधनविधिं यथा मातुर्वाणी स्मृतिरपि तथा वक्ति भगिनी पुराणाद्या एव सहजनिवहास्तदे ते तदनुगा अतः सत्यं ज्ञातं मुरहर भवानेव शरणम्. When the mother Vedas, Shruti, is questioned as to whom to worship, she says that you are the only Lord and worshipable object. Similarly, the corollaries of the Shruti Shastras, the Smriti Shastras, give the same instructions, just like sisters. The Puranas, which are like brothers, follow in the footsteps of their mother. O enemy of the demon Murari, Krishna. The conclusion is that you are the only shelter. Now I have understood this in truth. So, all the Vedic literatures point to the same thing. The conclusion. So, this is from the Vedic literature was spoken by the Lord to the Lord by great sages. So, in this way, there are so many, in fact, so many verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam that also where various devotees and sages they are glorifying. In fact, this book is full of that. This book is full of all the proclamations of great demigods, the sages, and the saintly kings who all proclaim that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why worship only Krishna. This is very important. Why we should worship only Krishna and no one else. That's the message of Bhagavad Gita, by the way. Whether we like it or not, even the great devatas, they want us to worship Krishna. That's the point in this. Lord Shiva is saying, Lord Durga Devi is saying, Skanda is saying, Ganesh is saying, everybody is saying. If I don't say, then that's my problem. And there is a nice verse actually. 12:3:43. You see, this is the Srimad Bhagavatam says, Kalau na rajan jagatam param gurum Trilokanatha natapada pankajam Prayena martya bhagavantam achyutam Yakshyanti pashanda vibhinna chetasah. O king, in the age of Kali, that means in Kali Yuga, people's intelligence will be diverted by atheism and they will almost never offer sacrifice to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Supreme Spiritual Master of the universe, Jagadguru. Although the great personalities who control the three worlds all bow down to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, the petty and miserable human beings of this age will not do so. This is our position of many people in this world. Yeah, so many in the comment section as well. So you see, petty and miserable human beings. This is the label that whoever is just passing stupid comments that Krishna is not God and all that, you're petty and miserable. That's all. That's what you are. So if you want to be a little bit intelligent, um, sumedhasaham, then you have to read Bhagavad Gita, accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, read the Srimad Bhagavatam, come to the same conclusion, read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, understand how to worship Krishna, and become a nice devotee. So that's what we should do if you are actually intelligent. You should get these books, study them hard, and then become a nice devotee. That's what you should do. Then your life won't be miserable. Otherwise, dukkhalayam ashashvatam. That's where we're going to be. So, I think I'll end it there and I'll go through the comment section if you have any questions or comments. How do I surrender to Lord Krishna? Pokemon 30 is asking. First of all, don't worship Pokemon, worship Krishna. Surrender to Krishna. How do I surrender? Well, starts with Shravanam and Kirtanam. So you have to hear. First, there had to be Adav Shraddha. There has to be a preliminary faith. Good that you're asking how to surrender. At least you know that you have to surrender. Hear from him. If we know the greatness of Krishna, we will automatically submit. So let's place emphasis on learning more about Krishna. So Bhagavad Gita, in fact, yesterday was Gita Jayanti, the advent of Bhagavad Gita. We went out to some of the temples that are here, and Vishnu temples. People are coming out not interested in Bhagavad Gita. We are asking, please take a Bhagavad Gita. You have taken darshan of Vishnu, now hear what he has to say. Take the Bhagavad Gita. Today is Gita Jayanti, very auspicious day. No. Sometimes we just showed the book and said, here, this is the blessings of Krishna, please take. No. Okay. So you don't want blessings of Krishna? No. So, unfortunate. I don't know what they're going to temple for then. We have to be a little bit interested. Problem with our Hinduism, so-called, is the interest in the scriptures is at an all-time low. People are not interested. They just want to just go there and take darshan, and then I don't know why they think that is enough. But surrender starts with hearing. That's what Brahma also recommends. What is that? 10.14.3. Take that out. ज्ञाने प्रयासमुदपास्य नमन्त एव जीवन्ति सन्मुखरितां भवदीयवार्तां स्थाने स्थिताः श्रुतिगतां तनुवाङ्मनोभिर् ये प्रायशो जितोऽप्यसितैस्त्रिलोक्याम्. Those who, even while remaining situated in their established social positions, that means you don't have to really change your position socially or your family wise, nothing you have to change. Those who throw away the process of speculative knowledge and with their body, words, and mind offer all respects to descriptions of your personality and activities, dedicating their lives to these narrations, which are vibrated by you personally and by your pure devotees, certainly conquer your lordship, although you are otherwise unconquerable by anyone within the three worlds. See, just by offering respects to descriptions of your personality and activities. Where are the descriptions of your personality, Krishna's personality and activities? Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, the pinnacle of all Vedic literatures. So, dedicating their lives to these narrations. So we have to hear this message, and then all the surrender starts. And the rest of it will automatically happen. Once you start, then everything will open up. So we have to pay attention by hearing the message. That's the first step. 6:12:10. 6:12:10. 6, 12, 10. Okay. No one is independent. Adi 2.10, elaborate description by Jiva Goswami about word Bhagavan in Bhagavad Sandarbha. Adi. Now, you can go and read this. You can go and read this. For the sake of time, you can go and read. But basically, he's the owner of all the 6 opulences. Maybe we can read it on our own. Okay. Somebody, Ashutosh. Oh, this is the same Ashutosh. Why Sanskrit is unable to contribute good things in our society is over Brahmanism of it caused other castes not interested in this language. No. It's not about the Sanskrit, it's about the message. Sanskrit is a medium to convey. The message can be lost even if it is in Sanskrit. There are many great Sanskrit scholars who misunderstand Bhagavad Gita totally, although it is simple Sanskrit. Actually, it's not very esoteric Sanskrit. It's very simple Sanskrit, but still. What is his argument? Who is this Bunty? You ask in English now, no? Okay. This Bunty is just going on. If you want all the answers now, you read Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Simply asking like this, not relevant for the class, and what are you doing? Yeah. So the question of Bunty also was this: why Brahma got physical with his daughter? Why did he try to run after his daughter? Well, it is explained 10:33:29 to 36 to show us the power of Maya. That even a personality as great as Brahma, Maya can overpower him. So how careful we must be. So it's very nicely explained. In fact, Parishit asks about Kṛṣṇa as well. Why did the protector and maintainer of religious principles dance with other people's wives in the Ras Leela? So these things, first of all, nobody is other people's wives. Everybody is actually Krishna's wives. The other person came now and claiming that this is my wife, but actually that wife belongs to Krishna and he himself belongs to Krishna. So Krishna has every right to dance with anyone. But even if it looks like immoral, great personalities, when they do things which are seemingly contrary to Vedic moral principles, let me actually show you that. They only exemplify the power of Maya, which is never to be taken lightly. So 10:33:29 Tejiyasam Nadoshaya. Oh, come on. Dharma. Okay, so let's look at the question also. I think starting from 20, yeah, Parikshit 26, yeah. 26, he says, Shri Parikshiduvacha, Samsthapanaya dharmasya prashamayetarasya cha avatirno hi bhagavan amshena jagadishwarah sakatham dharma setunam vakta karta bhirakshita pratipam acharat brahman paradara bhimarshanam. Parishit Maharaj said, O Brahmana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord of the Universe, has descended to this earth along with his plenary portion to destroy irreligion and re-establish religious principles. Indeed, he is the original speaker, follower, and guardian of moral laws. How then could he have violated them by touching other men's wives? आप्तकामो यदुपतिः कृतवान् वै जुगुप्सितं किमभिप्राय एतन्नः संशयं छिन्दि सुव्रत. You see, O faithful upholder of vows, please destroy our doubt by explaining to us what purpose the self-satisfied Lord of the Yadus had in mind when he behaved so contemptibly. So this is the thing. A devotee never tries to defame the Lord, but people may have these questions and they may not, they may criticize the Lord in the future. And that's why Parishit Maharaj, he is convinced, but he's asking these questions so that Parishit Maharaj can, Sukadev Goswami can answer them for everyone's benefit. So devotee, he wants to understand everything. It's not that Lord made a mistake, so we will turn a blind eye. No, we will understand how it is not a mistake, how it is appearing as a mistake to our vision, and how it is actually not a mistake. And this is, of course, for the Lord. For the great controllers like Brahma, the question was about Brahma, why did he go after his daughter? So again, the answer actually will be given. So let's just actually read here. So now, Sri Shuka Uvacha, Dharma Vyatikramo Drishta Ishvaranam cha sahasam tejiyasam na doshaya vahneha sarvabhujo yatha. Sukadeva Goswami said, the status of powerful controllers is not harmed by any apparently audacious transgression of morality we may see in them. For they are just like fire which devours everything fed into it and remains unpolluted. So it does not harm them. Okay, even if they're powerful controllers like Kṛṣṇa, of course, even Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and even Indra and such great controllers, and they're not harmed by apparent audacious transgression of morality. Now, नैतत् समाचरेज्जातु मनसापि ह्यनीश्वरः विनश्यत्याचरन् मौढ्याद् यथा रुद्रोब्धिजं विषम्. One who is not a great controller should never imitate the behavior of ruling personalities, even mentally. So whatever they do is inimitable. Inimitable means they cannot be imitated. Even mentally we should not. If out of foolishness an ordinary person does imitate such behavior, he will simply destroy himself, just as a person who is not Rudra would destroy himself if he tried to drink an ocean of poison. Sometimes, Lord Shiva's followers, they claim to be Lord Shiva's followers, and they, take bhang and some BD and all this. Oh, Lord Shiva took poison, we also take a little bit poison. No. He was not drunk, he was not intoxicated. He took the Visha to save others. So that the whole world will be saved. Otherwise, the whole poison would have killed all living entities in the universe. He saved everyone. Not that Shiva did not die with that. But these people they're accelerating their death by taking this bhang and this BD and all these things, intoxication and what marijuana. So Next, Ishvaranam vacham satyam tathaivaacharitam kvachit tesham yat svavacho yuktam buddhimam stat samacharet. The statements of the Lord's empowered servants are always true, and the acts they perform are exemplary when consistent with those statements. Therefore, one who is intelligent should carry out their instructions. We should not, that's why there are two words, anukarana and anusharana. Anukarana means to imitate, anusharana means to follow. Follow the instructions. Don't imitate an act of a great personality. And don't think that because of that he's fallen. No, that is just an example of how careful we must be. If a person of his stature can fall down, can be attacked by Maya, so we should be extra super alert on conducting ourselves. Next, kushalacharite naisham iha swartho na vidyate viparyayena vanartho nirahankarinam prabho. My dear Prabhu, when these great persons who are free from false ego act piously in this world, they have no selfish motives to fulfill. And even when they act in apparent contradiction to the laws of piety, they are not subject to sinful reactions. Kimukhil sattvanam tiriyan martya divaukasam ishitushcheshitavyanam kushalanvayah. How then could the Lord of all created beings, animals, men, and demigods have any connection with the piety and impiety that affect his subject creatures? You see? Yat pada pankaj paraga nisheva tripta yoga prabhava vidhuta khila karma bandha svairam charanti munayopina nahyamanas tasyechat tasyechayata vapushah kuta eva bandha. Material activities never entangle the devotees of the Supreme Lord, who are fully satisfied by serving the dust of his lotus feet. Nor do material activities entangle those intelligent sages who have freed themselves from the bondage of all fruitive reactions by the power of yoga. How could there be any question of bondage for the Lord himself, who assumes his transcendental forms according to his own sweet will? So, it's a good conclusion. So anyway, Brahma, after that desire to go after his daughter, then he found himself contaminated, and he gave up his body and got another new body. He regretted his act, and he gave up that body and got a new body. And he heard the Bhagavatam, and Prabhupada says after he heard the Bhagavatam, he never fell down. So, so there are answers for all these things, but don't ask in a challenging way. I only answered this because I don't think the one who asked with a good intention. Maybe they have, but looking by the way they have commented on the live stream, I don't think so. But it may leave questions to those sincere souls who may have this question like, or they do not know how to answer. This is the answer. In fact, there is this nice conversation of Prabhupada. I think it's worth taking out. Okay. This is the one. Akshayananda. Yeah. So you see, I'll read out to this conversation. Akshayananda, disciple of Prabhupada, he asks Prabhupada, I was recently told by one devotee that the Acharya does not have to be a pure devotee. Prabhupada, what? That the Acharya does not have to be a pure devotee. Prabhupada, who is that rascal? Akshayananda said, well, he said it. Who said it? Prabhupada, who said? Who's that rascal? The Acharya does not require to be a pure devotee? Akshayananda says, he said it, Nitai said it. He said it in this context. He said that Lord Brahma is the Acharya and the Brahma Sampradaya, but yet he is sometimes afflicted by passion. So therefore he is saying that it appears that the Acharya does not have to be a pure devotee. So it does not seem right. Prabhupada, who's that rascal? I want to know who has said. Akshananda says, Nitai dāsa. Harikesh, Nitai said that? He laughs in disbelief. Harikesh. So Prabhupada says, who is Nitai dāsa? Harikesh says, our Nitai. Oh, our Nitai. Oh. Then Akshananda says, he said he couldn't understand, but he couldn't understand it, but he thought. He said that he thought. Prabhupada, he manufactured his idea. Therefore, he is a rascal. Therefore, he is a rascal. Nitai has become an authority? Akshananda says, no, actually, he said that he thought. Prabhupada double down. You see, Prabhupada doubles down here. He thought something rascaldom and he's expressing that. Therefore, he's more rascal. He thought in his mind, now he's putting into words. Thinking already, there is rascaldom. Now, to put it into words, he's more rascal. Immediately, see. These things are going on. As soon as he reads some books, he becomes an acharya, whatever rascal he may be. Akshananda. So, there is no doubt that Lord Brahma is a pure devotee? Akshananda asks. Prabhupada. Whatever he may be, he is acharya. So, then Krishna is also passionate. Krishna is also passionate. Krishna danced with so many gopis, therefore he is passionate. These things are to be seen in this way, that such exalted person, how he sometimes become passionate, so how much we shall be careful. This is the instruction. Then we petty persons, how much we shall be careful. It is not that, oh, Acharya has become passionate, therefore I shall become passionate. I am a strict follower of Acharya. I will also become as passionate as him. These rascals say. Harishaure. So Lord Brahma is being attracted to his daughter. That is just an example. Prabhupada. So why you discuss this? Therefore, you shall be attracted with your daughter, mother. Do you think so like that? Harishaure says, no. Indian man. In this world, this is our disease. This is our disease. Prabhupada. Yes, that disease, Brahma, Lord Shiva also, he was attracted to the Mohini. So they are Ishvara, they are controllers. So the instruction is that even such personalities may be sexually attracted. So how much we shall remain careful. This is the instruction. Like the other rascal who was saying that Krishna was killed by a hunter, therefore hunter is greater than Krishna. Rajagopalacharya, Indian man said. He has written in Mahabharata that Krishna was killed by a hunter. Krishna passes away, the heading of his chapter. And Harikesh says to Prabhupada, you said about a couple of years ago that what ordinary man would be killed if he was shot in the heel by an arrow? No ordinary man dies that way. Actually, it's true. So many people get shot by a bullet in their leg. They don't die. Who gets shot in the heel and he dies immediately? Even ordinary man doesn't die like that. How can Krishna die? So it's not that. So but yeah, so that's the thing. I will answer some relevant questions, if any. So he's saying God is, again, this guy is just arguing, but he says God is beyond human comprehension. God is gender neutral, eternal, imageless. God doesn't have parents, neither offsprings, no wife. How many of these attributes matches with Krishna? All. So he has no material gender. He is spiritual. Okay? It's all Satchidananda Vigraham. And he is the original male, not the male of the material world, the original male, the enjoyer. He is gender neutral as far as material gender concerned. He is above male and female, but he is a transcendental male, and he is eternal. That's why even every religion addresses God as He. It does not address God as it, or some gender neutral terms. He, always in male, supreme male. It's transcendental male. Eternal, yes. Imageless, yes. He does not have a form of this material world. He is Satchidananda Vigraha. He has no form of this material world, and that's why he's called imageless, because none of the images in this material world can accurately represent Krishna, because his descriptions are given in the words, in the Vedic literature, revealed description. According to that, paintings are done, murtis are done, but in that, Krishna is there. He accepts those forms and he accepts worship in those forms. But it's not that they are material images, they are representations of the original spiritual form. God doesn't have parents, yes. Anadiradir Govinda. He has neither offspring. Yeah, because nobody is born. Everybody's, all of us are eternal. Although Krishna says, I am the father of everyone, actually all of us are eternal. It's not that at some point of time we were born. No, there was no birth, no death. In that sense, yeah, he has no offspring in that sense. We also say that. But because he's the maintainer of everyone, he is doing the thing of a father. And he is the origin of all our qualities and everything that we have. We are his amsha. So in that way, he's like our father. And therefore, he is actually the eternal father. Although he did not give birth to us. Our bodies, yeah, in this material world, but we are as eternal as the Lord, Nityo Nityanam. But still, we are his parts and parcels. This is that's why for foolish people who require some simple understanding, some religious texts describe the Lord as formless and this and that. That is to just keep the people who cannot accept higher instructions of how the transcendental form of the Lord is. For them, it is simply said that yeah, it has no form, because for them, form means this material form. They don't go beyond that. So, oh, he does not have a form like anything in this world. That much is given. But what form he has? Because everything here has a form. The origin of everything, God, he does not have a form. That means at least one thing, we are greater than God. We have form which God does not have. How can God does not have something which even we have? That means he has, but not like ours. It requires a little bit intelligence, which I don't know if this person who commented has or not. He has no offspring, no wife. Yeah, but he has no wife or parents. He accepts devotees as his wife if they want to serve him like that. It's a relationship. It's an eternal relationship. Not that he marries someone. He's already connected with all of us in our own unique relationships. So none of those relationships are like the ones in this material world. It takes a little bit of intelligence, a little bit of more piety to be able to understand this higher nature of the Lord and his relationships with his devotees. So, yeah, that's the answer. Okay, I'm not going to answer many of these questions because anyway, wasting of my time. But I want to answer these questions for devotees, so at least they know how to answer. Rupavilas Prabhu is asking, how could you send on how reciting the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam slokas in different tunes? Actually, I do have that. There is a video on our channel. There's actually a whole playlist on our YouTube channel called Shloka Learning Course, and in that it's seven videos. Yeah, 7 videos, and I think in the 4th video or something, all the different tunes. And in fact, in the description of that video, there is a link to sample recordings of me chanting each of those different lengths meters of verses in different tunes. You can access that, and I will add more to that because more need to be added there. But there are already many tunes there. You can use that and learn these tunes. So Sridhar Naidu is asking, I have a question about incident about Brahma. When Brahma visited Krishna, he was asked which Brahma was he by the doorkeeper. Then later Krishna brought multiple Brahmas in the assembly. So do we have multiple material universes as well? Absolutely. Yes. There is full description on how that is. In fact, in the Nectar of Devotion, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and in the Vidagdha, no, what is the other? Lalita Madhava. So there are descriptions of the other Brahmas. In fact, our Brahma has 4 heads. This universe, the space within the universe, is 4 billion miles in diameter, and this Brahma has 4 heads. So other Brahmas, they have come, some with 10 heads, some with 100 heads, some with 1,000, million, 10 million, 100 million, billion, 10 billion, trillion, like that it was increasing. So depending on the sizes of those universes, it is said. So yeah, of course, there are so many innumerable universes, like bubbles, from the like bubbles in the ocean. That many universes, innumerable universes, each with innumerable planets, each with innumerable living entities. And all of that is just 1/4 of the total energy of the Lord. The rest, 3/4 of his energies are displayed in the spiritual world, in the Vaikuntha realm. So yeah, there are multiple universes. All right. Thank you very much. 3:12:28 is mentioned about Brahma and daughter. Yeah, that part is there. So anyway, but after hearing Srimad Bhagavatam directly from the Lord, there was no possibility of such failures. So yes. Okay, so we will stop it here. Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.